Delays upon delays. Court order prevents implementation of delimitation gazette. Parliament heats up over possible election postponement.
I want to say,
out of the time of Honourable
I know. I want to say that we also want the elections held as early as possible, and we oppose the abuse of process of courts in this regard.
Pledge of support. ADB Vice President assures nearly $5 billion to Sri Lanka over next 4 years. Light rail to be introduced. Preliminary agreement inked for a light rail transit system in Colombo. Soaring foreign purchases. Colombo Stock Exchange reports all-time high in foreign purchases for 2017. New coach. Sri Lanka cricket looking to offer Chandika Hatrusinghe the post of head coach. Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammika Kanayaka. Now, local government elections were the talk of the day as the Court of Appeal today issued a stay order preventing the implementation of the Gazette notification pertaining to delimitation of local government bodies until the 4th of December. The decision was given following deliberation of the petition filed by 6 citizens challenging the delimitation Gazette.
The Gazette notification pertaining to delimitation of local governments and the number of their members was issued recently. However, 6 people filed a petition in the Court of Appeal on the 15th, requesting the Gazette notification be nullified, saying the subject minister acted against the recommendations of the Delimitation Committee when issuing it. The petition was submitted by 6 citizens with voting rights who are residents of Colombo, Kandy, Halyala, Matra and Amblipitia. Minister of Local Government and Provincial Councils Faiza Mustafa and the Secretary to the Ministry H.T. Kamal Padmasiri are named as respondents in the petition. Accordingly, it was taken up before a 3-member judge bench comprising of President of the Court of Appeal, Justice L.P.D. Dehideniya, Kumudini Wickramasinghe and Shiran Gunaratne this morning. The petitioners claimed that the Gazette notification was issued by the Minister disregarding the recommendations of the subcommittee appointed to carry out the demarcation of local government bodies. They further point out that such actions are unlawful and that the Minister has no authority to do so. Therefore, they request the court to issue an order invalidating the said Gazette notification. Ruling on the petition, the judge bench pointed out that an inquiry should be held to determine whether the minister has acted beyond the rule of law when amending the Gazette notification. The bench also issued a stay order preventing the implementation of the Gazette notification on delimitation of local government bodies until the 4th of December, stating the petition will be taken up before the Court of Appeal again on the 4th. The judge bench ordered parties to the case to file objections within a week from today.
The SLFP has fractured into 2 and that is the cause of these issues. The conspiracy was clearly brought to light today. The UNP cannot wash their hands off saying this is the work of the Maitri faction of the SLFP. If they can work together for the budget, the blame for elections cannot be levelled at one faction. These conspiracies are necessary if the Prime Minister and the President honestly want elections. That's evident. Minister Faiza clearly launched this conspiracy and is behind this court process. Although this conspiracy is that of the Maitri faction of the SLFP, the entire government is responsible. What's regrettable is that it was the President's Council who issued the Gazette. As a legal counsel, he should have checked for legal issues before issuing the delimitation Gazette. It is clear that there is a political agenda in play in this case, since these citizens have come forward when the Elections Commission is ready for elections. We know that courts will not function for a while, and our attorneys clearly said that this case should be taken up prior to that period. With that, however, there are signs of a postponement. We hope to make evident in court that there is a possibility of elections in local government bodies which are irrelevant to the case. The Election Commission, scheduled to convene on the 25th of November, will discuss future measures that should be taken.
In the meantime, issuing a media communique, the General Secretary of the United National Party said that it is the responsibility of UNP and good governance to create the environment for the people to elect their representatives. It also says they will not hold or postpone elections for any party's benefit.
Now the topic of local government elections, as well as the prospect of the joint opposition coming together with the SLFP, drew various views on the political arena. If anyone is of the stance that election won't be held until they have the advantage, it will never happen. An advantageous environment will not manifest, neither for this government nor any other party. All members of the SLFP will not have any issue coming together under the UPFA once SLFP gets out of the alliance with the UNP. There is no friction between us. Although we are temporarily at two ends, when it comes to views and principles, we are similar. Agreeing on a common principle is not an issue and can be done within hours or days. Our intention is not to divide the party, but to go forward together. We're still trying to do that. What is required is not just a victory, but a splendid victory, and we invite all to that end. As a party, we have taken measures to win the election. I clearly say that the SLFP, including Minister Faisal Mustafa, will not hold elections until the joint opposition joins them. We are aware of the process which left the chairman of the Elections Commission helpless from the inception. The stay order preventing the implementation of the Gazette notification on delimitation of local government bodies was discussed in Parliament as well. The topic was touched on during the debate of the expenditure pertaining to three ministries, including Agriculture and Environment. President Maithripala Sirisena was also present in Parliament. The election was declared by January, but today we hear it's been postponed, with our own people seeking a stay order. The public are anticipating this election. In addition to expressing our objection to postponing the election, I believe it is the responsibility of the government to hold elections soon. Deputy Speaker, even we are against postponing elections. We need an election. The United National Front needs an election. We have prepared the nominations and other lists while selecting relevant people. They are just walking. It was postponed by 2.5 years and it is now in the third year. This has led to much contention within societies since this is a small issue, with Pradesh Sabhas being a small unit. The responsibility of holding this election lies solely with the government, since it is the government which postponed it. This has to be talked about today. Wait a moment. The first issue is that the government clearly forwarded secretaries of ministries and acquaintances to this case. Not only that, we know there is a vacancy in Supreme Court at present and there will be another in the future. This case is used to select candidates from the appeals court to those vacancies. This is clearly the result of the government's plan to postpone elections.
It is true that you can't allow a debate on this.
Yes.
But since you have already allowed 2-3 persons to speak, I want to say...
Out of the time of Honorable...
I want to say that we also want the elections held as early as possible, and we oppose the abuse of process of courts in this regard.
All who aided the efforts to bring this government into power on the 8th of January in 2015 should be held responsible for bringing a government which lacks the capacity to even hold a Pradesh Sabha election. Cabinet Co Spokesperson Minister Dr. Rajitha Senaratne says that it is reasonable for the COPE members to converse with parties involved with the central bank bond issuance. The minister made these remarks at the cabinet media briefing held in Colombo today.
COPE committee සමාජිකයන් අර්ජුන මහත්මයා සහ පොපියුලර් ට්‍රෙසරි සමාගම සම ටෙලිෆෝන් සම්බන්ධතා පැවැත්වුවා කියන එක තමයි.
COPE committee සමාජිකයන්
It is appropriate for COPE members to keep in touch with them. We need to ask if there were any other parties who kept in touch with them. The chairman of the COPE should be independent. Merely having knowledge in economics won't help understand the process related to central bank bond issuances. Those who have knowledge in the process must be the ones to analyse it. Some say this problem incurred losses of 1 trillion rupees, and I don't even know how they came up with these numbers. Even I am accused of these phone conversations. But I know Mr. Aloysius for a long time now. When I was in provincial councils, he once spoke to me about some lands in which he wished to establish factories. With regards to the 2 calls that I'm accused of, he called me once and I returned the call. When he met with me to say that he is innocent in the controversy and that he needed my help to prove it, I clearly said that I can't help him with it.
calls 384යි wife calls 320යි. ඒ පිළිබඳව ප්‍රශ්නිකුත් නැද්ද ඔබතුමාට?
ඒකේ බලන්න ඕනේ මොනවද කතා කරේ කියලා.
We need to find out what they talked about because even I know that former Minister Karunanayake and Aloysius have been good friends for a very long time. Prime Minister used to advise the former minister not to carry on doing business with them.
ඔය වගේ කට්ටියත් එක්ක උපත මේ බිස්නස් කරන්නත් එපයි.
රවි කරුණායක මැතිතුමා කොමිසමට ඇවිල්ලා කිව්වේ දන්නේ නැහැ කියලා.
ඒක වැරද්දක් ඇති.
That is wrong then. You should go and ask these questions from Ravi Karunanayake. There is no point in talking to me about it. Who placed their accounts in the Dubai banks? It was Arjuna Mahendran who was the manager of that bank back then. It was the son-in-law who facilitated everything.
ෆැසිලිටේට් කරන්නේ නැත්තේ. මේ බෑනනේ.
ඊයේ බන්දුල මන්ත්‍රීතුමා සහ හිටපු ජනාධිපතිවරයා චෝදනාවක් කරා මේ බැඳුම් කර සිද්ධියේ යට ගහන්න ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයාව අත්අඩංගුවට ගන්න යනවා කියලා.
ඒකට කොමිෂන් එක ගෙනාවේ මොකක් යටපත් කරන්නද?
So in that sense, what did we try to cover up by establishing the Commission of Inquiry? Is it to cover up something they did?
ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ එකක් යටපත් කරන්නද මේක ගෙනාවේ?
මේ පොලිස් ප්‍රකාශනතුමා හිටපු ආරක්ෂක ලේකම් ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ අත්අඩංගුවට ගන්න යනවා කියලා හිටපු ජනාධිපති මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා මේ ඉදිරි දින කිහිපේ. දැන් මේ වගේ තොරතුරු එළියට පිටත් වෙනවද නැත්නම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ කලින් දෙනවද නැත්නම් කොහොමද?
නෑ නෑ මම දෙනව නම් දෙන්න ඔබටනේ.
Not really, because then you'd be the first to know, don't you think? Usually it's our investigative officers who keep me informed of all the information.
ආව නිල වශයෙන් දැනුවත් කරන්න විමර්ශන නිලධාරීන්.
Meanwhile, MP Bandula Gunawardena reacted to Minister Rajitha Senaratne's comment on different views being expressed over the losses incurred by the bond issue due to limited knowledge on the subject.
He's reasonable in his comment because these analyses must be done with radiological economical concepts. And because he has no idea about the subject, what he said was quite reasonable. These bonds have been issued as 30-year bonds, which means we would have to face its consequences until 2045. And during the final debate on the budget, we expect to talk about the losses by way of opportunity that have been incurred through these bonds. Parliamentarian of the United National Party, Tushar Indulil Amarasen, meanwhile says that an investigation should be conducted to uncover bank transactions and phone conversations since 2008. He made these remarks at a media briefing held at the parliamentary premises today. It was because of the monetary requirement that the Prime Minister gave directives to issue bonds only through the public auction system after cancelling the direct placement method. We will have to highlight all the faults that the direct placement method had since 2008. We should focus not just on phone calls of few MPs. It's best to go through all the phone conversations of all the MPs since 2008 and find out who they spoke with. Arjuna Aloysius wouldn't have been able to do what he did if the central bank did not create the environment for it. We should look into the number of central bank officials whom the COPE members talked with. And then, on the 29th of March in 2011, the perpetual treasuries had transferred 15 million rupees to the account used for political campaigns of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Then, on the 25th of August 2011, the account receives an amount of 15 million from an unknown depositor. There are many other transactions of the same nature. Imagine how many transactions like these might have occurred since 2008. We will then be able to find out how many phone calls and transactions were made by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, MP Namal Rajapaksa and Basil Rajapaksa. So there should be an investigation to look into all these as well. On to some development news now. Vice President of the Asian Development Bank, Wen Kai-Zhang, called on President Maithripala Sirisena this morning and promised that ADB would extend fuller support to the economic development plans initiated under the directives of the President.
The main topic of the discussion was the country partnership strategy for development assistance for the period 2018 to 2022 for which the ADB has allocated a sum of $4 to $5 billion for Sri Lanka. As the ADB marks 50 years of cooperation in development activities in Sri Lanka, ADB Vice President presented a copy of the book on 50 years of partnership to the President. The ADB Vice President underscored the importance of Sri Lanka's infrastructure development financing mechanism and added that ADB would provide assistance to infrastructure development. The ADB's Vice President Wen Kai Zhang said that Sri Lanka should enhance economic growth by attracting more foreign investments, and economic development zones would play a vital role in that.
The opening ceremony of the 5th Global Conference on Cyberspace is due to be held in New Delhi, India tomorrow. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe left for India yesterday to participate in the conference.
Upon arrival at the Indira Gandhi International Airport, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe was received by the Chief Protocol Officer of the Indian Ministry of External Affairs Sanjay Verma and Deputy Protocol Officer Abhishek Shukla. Sri Lankan High Commissioner to India Chitrangani Vagiswara and Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Taranjit Singh Sandhu also joined the occasion. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, along with the Indian Premier Narendra Modi, will attend the opening ceremony of the 5th Global Conference on Cyberspace tomorrow. The theme of this year's conference is a secure and comprehensive cyberspace for sustainable development. In the meantime, the Prime Minister's office said that Premier Wickremesinghe will hold bilateral discussions with the Indian Premier and call on the President of India, Ram Nath Kovind.
With a view of reducing traffic congestion in the city of Colombo, the preliminary agreement for the light rail transit project was inked in Colombo today. The total project estimate will be carried out to the tune of $6 billion.
The feasibility report for the first phase of the light rail transit project, which is expected to reduce traffic congestion in Colombo, proposed the construction of 7 LRT routes. A preliminary agreement was inked between a Korean company who will act as consultants for the project, together with the Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development. One of the 7 routes proposed under the project is expected to be 15.3 kilometers, which runs through Malabe, Rajgiriya, Batramulla, Boralla via Fort. This will be constructed with funds from the Japanese government under a loan scheme.
This is a large-scale public transportation project since Britain introduced the railway line to Sri Lanka. This will be a new experience for us as well. We expect to conclude the project by 2023. This is an investment which will be carried out by the private and public sector. In order to manage the LRT system, we hope to establish a separate company with representation from the government. This project is estimated to cost $6 billion. Now, Inspector General of Police Pujit Jayasundara warns the country could be waving towards another dark era with regards to the conduct of some pertaining to the recent incident in Galle. The IGP was addressing the ceremony organised to mark the opening of the new police station in Veerakatiya. What happened in Galle recently and who are behind these incidents? Is another 3-decade-long dark era waved at from another direction? Has the bodies buried forgotten? We should fully comprehend this situation, and the small incident which centred around Gintota in Galle should be a real eye-opener for all the citizens in Sri Lanka. Are we to wave at another dark era? Are we to let things exacerbate beyond repair? Are we to let disagreements of children during their playful years be addressed with extremism stretching as far as terrorism?
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel, Derana 24/7.
Now, 2017 has recorded an all-time high in foreign purchases during a year, with 105.1 billion rupees year-to-date in foreign purchases this year, passing the record of 104.7 billion rupees set in 2014. The development follows signs of renewed foreign interest in the stock market in mid-2017, during which foreign purchases recorded for the first half of 2016 doubled in 2017 and recorded an all-time high for foreign purchases in the first half of a calendar year. Such foreign purchases have contributed to a net foreign purchase figure of 18.9 billion rupees year to date, a figure that is substantial compared to foreign activity in 2015 to 2016. Growing foreign interest in the market has also contributed to a 30% improvement in the daily average turnover, where the figure has improved to 955 million rupees from 737 million rupees in 2016. The record continues to indicate that foreign investors have been quick to identify buying opportunities in Sri Lankan stocks. Now, the Minister of Tourism and Christian Affairs, John Amaratunga, says that the tourism industry must focus on maintaining standards if the government is to be dependent on the tourism sector as an income-generating industry. He made this remark at an event held in Colombo recently.
Food Safety Awards 2017 was held in Colombo recently under the patronage of the Minister of Tourism and Christian Affairs, John Amaratunga. The ceremony commended 112 food establishments which have maintained high quality in the city limits of Colombo, while 3 special awards were presented for high achievement under 3 categories. The event was organised by the Public Health Department of the Colombo Municipal Council.
It is the duty of the government to ensure that safety is maintained in the question of food and beverages. Now, we see that there is a lot of interest that is generated among the different organizations in the question of producing high standard beverages, food and beverages. If we are going to attract foreigners to come into this country, first of all what they will look at is the comfort, where they are going to stay. Second thing is the food and beverages, the standard of food and beverages. If the government is going to depend on tourism for higher income, on foreign exchange, then these standards have to be maintained.
The third China Products exhibition commenced in Colombo today. Now, the event, organised by the National Chamber of Commerce together with the Export Development Board, saw the participation of 120 manufacturers from various sectors, from household equipment to construction material. Speaking to First at 9, the chairman of the National Chamber of Commerce, Sujiva Samaravira, said that the main objective of the event is to create investment opportunities, encouraging manufacturing and enhance economic ties between Sri Lanka and China. The exhibition will be held until Friday. And now to give you a stock update, the Sri Lankan shares ended slightly higher today in dull trade as investors stayed on the sidelines awaiting clarifications on new taxes in the national budget and key legislations unveiled earlier this month. The Colombo Stock Index ended 0.09% firmer at 6,464.44. It lost 1% last week. Large caps led to gains, with Ceylon Beverage Holdings plc jumping 17.8% and Lime Brewery Ceylon plc up 5.6%. Foreign investors' net bought equities were 20.7 million rupees, while the day's turnover, which hit a more than 2-week low, stood at 324.3 million rupees. Now let's cross over to Meshi Fernando from the Colombo Stocks Exchange for a detailed report.
The market capitalization at the end of the day was 2,946.08 billion rupees. Top 5 gainers of the day were Ceylon Beverage, People's Merchant, Industrial Asphalts, Apico Finance and Citrus Leisure, while the top 5 losers were SNB Leasing, Non-Voting, Adam Investments, Serin Sin, Central Investments and Finance and Lanka Development.
From stocks to currency, now the Sri Lankan rupee closed marginally higher today as dollar conversions by exporters outpaced importer demand for the US currency. The spot rupee, which hit a low of 153 rupees and 80 cents, closed at 153 rupees and 70 to 75 cents per dollar, compared with Tuesday's close of 153 rupees and 75 to 80 cents. Let's take a look at how the Sri Lankan rupee traded against other currencies around the world.
You are watching Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Now to look at news from overseas. Robert Mugabe's days of exercising unchallenged power are over. After 37 years of deftly outmaneuvering potential rivals and maintaining his control of Zimbabwe, Mugabe found it hard to let go. Following his resignation, it was announced that Zimbabwe's former Vice President Emmerson Mnangagwa will now be sworn in as president on Friday. His resignation was announced yesterday by Speaker of Parliament Jacob Mudenda during a joint sitting of the Senate and National Assembly that was debating his impeachment motion. His dismissal led both the party and the military to intervene and force an end to Mugabe's 37-year-long rule. The ZANU-FP says Emmerson Mnangagwa, who fled to South Africa 2 weeks ago, is due to arrive today. The news sparked wild celebrations across the country late into the night. A ZANU-FP spokesperson said 71-year-old Mnangagwa would serve the remainder of Mugabe's term until elections which are due to be held by September 2018. What you are about to witness is a dramatic video of a North Korean defector's getaway which was released by the UN command in South Korea. The defector was critically wounded, having been hit at least 4 times in the hail of bullets as he made his desperate escape on Monday the 13th. Following the incident, an official from the UN command said that North Korea had been informed that it was in violation of the 1953 Armistice Agreement, which marked the cessation of hostilities in the Korean War. The CCTV footage showed a North Korean military vehicle speeding towards the border, passing checkpoints manned by North Korean guards before appearing to get stuck in a ditch. North Korean border guards were seen only steps behind the soldier when they opened fire, and one briefly crossed the border pursuing the wounded defector as he dashed to the South Korean side. The soldier, whose rank and identity have not been disclosed, was flown by a US military helicopter to a hospital after his escape to South Korea. Today, doctors announced that he had regained consciousness, having had 2 operations to extract the bullets, and his breathing was stable and unassisted. Uber Technologies revealed today that the company paid $100,000 to hackers in a bid to keep a massive breach last year a secret. The breach exposed personal information of about 57 million accounts of the ride service provider. Uber's CEO Dara Khosrowshahi said the discovery of the cover-up of the incident resulted in the firing of 2 employees responsible for its response to the hack. In a blog post, Khosrowshahi said the breach occurred in October 2016, but he had only recently learnt of it. The hack is another controversy for Uber on top of sexual harassment allegations, a lawsuit alleging trade secrets, theft and multiple federal criminal probes that culminated in the ouster of former CEO and co-founder Travis Kalanick in June.
You are watching Sri Lanka's trusted news brand, Other Derana 24/7.
Time for sports. Got some exciting news. Now, Sri Lanka Cricket confirmed today that it would explore the possibility of recruiting Chandika Hathurusinghe for the post of national head coach. President of Sri Lanka Cricket, Tilanga Sumatipala, has written to the Bangladesh Cricket Board informing them that SLC is in discussion with Hathurusinghe's attorneys and would offer him the position subject to the full release of his contractual obligations with the BCB. Speaking on the probable appointment, SLC President said that the Executive Committee is both convinced and confident that Hathurusinghe is the right man for the job and would like to bring him on board in a professional and transparent manner. Now, of course, with the Ashes set to kick off tomorrow, Australian captain Stephen Smith attempted to strike fear into the hearts of the English batting lineup. At a media briefing held today, Smith labelled the net sessions he had with Mitchell Starc and Patrick Cummins as scary.
I think back to 2013, 2014, we had a luxury of someone like Shane Watson there who, bowled 15 overs an innings and kept things really tight and gave those guys that little bit of extra rest so that Johnson could come on and do what he did. So, You know, we've only got 4 frontline bowlers here at the moment, so at times, you know, I'll try and use them in the shorter spells, but they're also comfortable bowling a little bit longer. I know that some of them, when they get in a rhythm, they like to keep on going, and they can actually bowl a bit quicker at the back end of their spells, these guys. So, you know, it's been exciting watching them bowl in the nets. I think back to 2013 when Mitchell was bowling in the nets, these guys are just as nasty, if not more nasty at the moment, to be perfectly honest. A couple of the net sessions I've had against Cummins and Stark have been quite scary.
You are watching Sri Lanka's award-winning news channel, Other Derana 24/7.
Let's now cross over to Katrina Chang at the Other Derana Weather Centre with your forecast first evening edition for the next 24 hours.
A very good evening and welcome to the Weather Centre on your forecast first, the evening edition. Now, taking a look at the map, we can expect temperatures to vary between 19 and 29 degrees Celsius over the course of the next 24 hours. Now, a low pressure zone will develop in the eastern part of the island, moving towards the southwest region of the island, bringing thunder showers in the Patiklo as well as in the Trincomalee area over the course of the day. Moving downwards, we can expect some thunder showers or wet weather in most parts of the island, particularly in the Colombo, Galle and Matre area. That is it from the Weather Centre tonight, but let's now take a quick look at your city by city forecast.
And that's it from First at 9. You can of course connect with us at First at 9 on Facebook as well as Twitter. Now before we go, we'd like to take you to the Borgada Wooden Bridge, located 7 kilometers west of Badulla. Built in the 6th century during the Dambadeniya era, it is said to be the oldest surviving wooden bridge in Sri Lanka. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.